How's it going? Back again today with another wee video. Today we're going to be tying the black claret Bumble, or black claret George. So the hook I have in the vise is a Camazon B175 size 10, and the thread I'm going to be using is Unithread 80 in red. So we catch on the thread about 2 or 3 mil just in behind the eye. Nice tight touch and turns. Using our tag end for the thread to slide down. And we're taking our thread somewhere between the point and the barb. A wee bit more. There we go. Trim off our tag end. Now for the tail of the fly, we're going to be using Glow Bright number 12 floss. So I pull off about 12 inches or so, and then get the two ends, double it over twice, and then 3 times. Catch it in at the tail. Whip it in nice and tight. Trim off the waist there. We don't really need to take it up to the eye. It's going to be a dubbed body, so that'll help cover it all up. Again, aim for reasonably tight turns, but they don't have to be tight. I'm going to trim our tail slightly shorter than the length of the shank. Once you have your tail trimmed, because it's made up of a few different strands and the fibres are quite tight, just take the Velcro, roll it back and forth. That'll just open up any of the fibres in the floss. So for a rib, if I can find it here, we're going to be using some small gold oval. Again, just take off 8 or 12 inches. Bit more if you're tying a few of these at once, and catch it in where you finished off your tail, and bring your thread down. Again, touch and turns if you can, just keeps everything nice and neat. Now our body, we're going to be using seals for. It's maybe quite hard to see, it's a dark claret from Vineyards. And what I do is I just take off a pinch of fibres and dub them loosely onto the thread. Doesn't have to be too tight. And then a couple of turns, twist on the seals for a bit more, another couple of turns, and if you feel it's just not tight enough, a few more turns. Right, so we'll just put a little bit more on. There we go. There we go. You're looking for a good bushy body. So for the Palmer tackle, I have a dyed claret saddle here. I'm just going to pull off a feather. Just marry it up first to check. You're looking for the fibres to be longer than the width of the gape. Maybe 1.5 times the width. It'll give you a nice bushy body. So a few wraps of thread to secure your hackle in. trim off your waist. And I take one full turn before my body, and then start in open turns, winding it down the body to where my rib is. From here I take my rib over the top of the hackle in the opposite way that I've wound my hackle, because you want it to lock it in. And then again, open turns. If you find it's catching or pulling any of the hackle fibres down, just wiggle it back and forth in between. You don't want it trapping too many fibres down. And you bring it up to where you started your hackle. A couple of turns of thread to secure it. Trim off your cold oval with old scissors. Now just stroke the fibres back with your finger and thumb. Tidy everything up. Just making sure there's no fibres sticking in front of your thread. And now the remainder of your hackle, you can either trim it off. If you've got good scissors, you'll get nice and close. Or if you're worried about trimming off some of the fibres, it should just break off like that. Now for the legs, I'm going to be using black peacock or black pheasant tail. And I haven't knotted any of these yet, so I'll just demonstrate how to knot them. Pull two fibres off while they're still on the stalk. Fold them over, round, and then, where's my double needle? Just with your double needle, pinch them in through. Pull it tight, not too tight that you break your fibres. So there's one. It's a bit fiddly at the start, but with a bit of practice you can get reasonably quick at it. And what I'm looking for is two pairs, one for each side, or two sets of legs on each side of the fly. There's 3 pairs. Four. There, so once you do it a few times, you get reasonably proficient at it, and they're all, you can see, they're all reasonably even knots. A bit of variation in them, but they're not a million miles away from each other. So I'll peel the first 2 off and tie them on my near side, just with the knots in the legs going around about midway in the tail somewhere. So 2 or 3 turns. Pull off the other 2 and I'll tie them on the far side of the fly, which is the camera side. So 1, 2, 3, 4 turns. Just line them up, make sure you're happy with them. Tips are reasonably even, so a few more turns just to secure them in. Now I'm going to put a wee bit of flash into this fly. What I'm going to use is it's Crystal Flash UV Herring. To be honest, I haven't a clue where I got it from. I've had it for years. I only just came across it the other day. So roughly the same length as your pheasant tail legs. You can tie them both in at the same time, or I prefer to do mine individually. So a couple of wraps on one side, a couple of wraps on the other. There we go. That's not too bad. And I'll take my scissors and trim everything off. So for the head hackle for the fly, I'm going to be using a natural black hen neck. I like the natural black because you get a good iridescent sheen off it. So strip off the fluff and the flue at the end of the feather, offer up your tip. Now the shiny side of the feather up, again half a dozen or so turns of thread, secure the feather in, trim off the tip, and then catch with your hackle pliers. So you don't really need too many turns, 2 or 3 should be more than ample. Nice tight turns. There's 2. And 1 more. Oh, it's just not as tight as I would like it, so we'll take that one back a bit. Go for 2 turns in this one. So 2 turns. I'll trim off. Now we've got a couple of fibres pointing forwards. It's not to worry. Fold them back with your thumb and forefinger and catch your thread in, just to build up a bit of a head. There we go. And now we're going to add a couple of jungle cock eyes. So I like to look for feathers in a sort of teardrop shape. Maybe even, I suppose, like a spear point. You can take a larger feather and split it. That can give a good effect too. And I also like to pick a feather from each side, so it gives a nice curve. So what we do is peel back any of the fibres we don't need, and again I'm going to tie these in separately. So I'll do my side first. 3 turns. Now I'll just bear the feathers up in this. I'll do the camera side. So 4 turns just to see what it's like. Now normally I would rotate the vise round to get a look at my other side, but I don't really need to because I have the screen of the camera here, I can see it. It comes in quite handy. Fold our feathers back, just helps to lock them in place, and then break off our tips. You can cut them, but I find if you can break them, it breaks them a whole lot closer than you'll get with your scissors. And now we just take our thread and build up our head, covering any wee bits of hackle stock that might be poking through. And we're ready to whip finish. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 turns, whip finish, and trim. So now at this stage I just take my varnish, tip of the needle on. Now nice and easy, just making sure, 1, not to cover the eye, and 2, so you don't touch any of the hackle fibres too much, because it'll draw the varnish up in through the fibres. And there we have the Black Claret Bumble, or Black Claret George. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe to my channel.